Welcome back, children. So, as I told you in the last class, this breathing has two parts. This respiration has two parts. First is breathing, another is cellular respiration. Breathing is also called as external respiration, and cellular respiration is also known as internal respiration. Now, how do we breathe in? Now, two things comes into play. One is the ribs, another is the diaphragm. You know, diaphragm is the muscular sheath which separates the chest cavity from the abdominal cavity. Now, when the diaphragm moves down, the ribs moves upward and outward by the help of intercostal muscles. Then what happens? The total volume of the chest cavity increases. As the volume increases, pressure inside the chest cavity decreases than the atmospheric pressure. As a result, air rushes in through our nose. Clear? After that, so this is called as inspiration or inhalation. Next, the diaphragm moves up, the rib cage moves downward and inward. Then the volume inside the chest cavity decreases, so pressure increases than the atmospheric pressure, and due to this excess pressure from inside, air is forced out, which we call expiration or exhalation. Right? Now, after the inhalation is done, exchange of gases occur in the alveoli, and oxygen is carried by blood, that is RBC, by RBC to each and every cell of the body. And in the cell, oxygen is utilized for breaking down glucose to give out energy, carbon dioxide, water. That comes under cellular respiration, which I have already taught you. That the change of glucose into pyruvate, then from pyruvate in remember? That is cellular respiration. Now let me explain you this one nicely. Now inside the nasal chamber, lot of hair is there. This hair helps in filtering the air. When we breathe in, air is filtered there. Moreover, throughout this entire lining of windpipe or trachea, mucus is there. It helps in filtering any type of solid particle, including bacteria, which may enter through air inside your nose. So first, two type of filtering units are there. First is the hair, which is filtering ones. Second is, even if some solid particles escape the hair and goes further down, then the inner lining has mucus secretion. So the mucus sticks those solid particles, including bacteria, and does not allow it to enter further. Clear? Now, as air comes down and comes up to the alveoli, through the trachea, it enters the left bronchus, the right bronchus, then via that goes to the bronchioles, and then at last goes to the alveoli. Now these alveoli are extremely thin, just single cell thick. You can understand what is the size, what is the thickness, and they are richly supplied with blood. Now, blood carries all the carbon dioxide which has been collected from all the cells into the alveoli. Now, when the alveoli is exposed to this oxygen, it absorbs the oxygen, at the same time it gives the carbon dioxide. Clear? Now this oxygen which is being absorbed in the alveoli, red blood cells, the RBC of blood, has hemoglobin. Hemoglobin has great affinity for oxygen. It quickly combines with that oxygen. So hemoglobin combines with oxygen as soon as oxygen is absorbed by alveoli. When this hemoglobin combines with this oxygen, it forms an unstable compound called as oxyhemoglobin. Now, after formation of oxyhemoglobin, oxygen is transported by RBC to each and every cell of the body. As soon as this oxyhemoglobin reaches each and every cell of the body, it breaks. Oxygen is delivered to the cell and hemoglobin remains as it is in RBC. Clear? So this is how oxygen is carried by red blood cell with the help of hemoglobin that is present in red blood cell. Now carbon dioxide which has been produced inside the cell as a result of cellular respiration, that mainly gets dissolved in the plasma and it is carried back into the lungs via blood, where it is delivered. Means exchange of gases occurs in the alveoli. So main function of alveoli is to increase the total surface area for exchange of gases. Exchange of gases means absorbing oxygen and releasing carbon dioxide. Now one thing I would like to say here that after exhalation, some amount of air always remains within the lungs, which is called as residual volume. Now why it is so? That is because in large sized animals bearing large body size, they require more time for absorbing oxygen in the blood. So the main function of that residual volume of air inside the lungs is to provide sufficient time to the lungs for absorbing this oxygen. That is why the lungs is never completely empty. Empty means devoid of oxygen. Clear? So please remember this exchange of gases and how oxygen is being absorbed and carried by blood with the help of RBC to each and every cell. Hemoglobin, it is because of hemoglobin in the RBC that blood appears red in color. If you filter off all the cells of the blood, RBC, WBC, platelets, then only the plasma will remain, and that is straw colored liquid. Okay children? So that is how exchange of gases occur. You must try to remember whatever I have said, and again I am saying you please draw the diagram nicely and try to read this portion from the textbook. After that, if you find any in-text questions pertaining to these portions of respiration, or as I have done digestion earlier, please write them down in your biology copy. So in our next class, I will start a new topic, that is transportation. Thank you.